Welcome to the Real Estate Addicts podcast. I'm not sure what episode this is. This is your host, Mark Savatsky with Choose Boston.
Dan Rubin, RH Investment Group.
And Ray Herto, RH Investment Group.
So this is our first podcast we're doing with video rolling.
We just did
Caleb,
one.
Well, we're doing our
This is
well,
a solo.
Amateur video.
Yeah.
So-
Let us know what you think. Type in the comments.
That's right.
Are we going to post this on YouTube?
Yes, actually, we just created a Real Estate Addicts YouTube channel.
Nice.
So at Real Estate Addicts on YouTube, if anyone wants to subscribe.
All right.
Is Dan talking into the right portion of the microphone?
I know. We're having a lot of off-camera, off-mic debates about audio and video
You
quality.
guys bicker like my mother and father.
Just imagine doing a project together.
I know.
The fun never ends, man.
Hey, Ray, how about you hit the intro music?
I am not going to do that because I'm going to rejigger this whole thing so I can do outro music also.
Okay, so no intro music.
Nope, let's go.
All right.
What are we talking about today, Mark?
All right, I think the two most common questions that I get from anyone is how do you finance your deals and how do you source your deals? So we're going to focus on the latter, the different avenues that deals come across your desk, deal flow. And just like as a corollary to this, something I was thinking about is just how difficult it is to focus on sourcing deals while you're still building deals. So you have a project that's under construction and a new project takes 8 months a year. So you really do have to be thinking about your next project, probably when you're getting close to rough, if it's a new build or...
I mean, we've gotten caught with that multiple times because you're so focused on getting that project done as quickly as humanly possible, and a lot of times the kind of deal sourcing aspect of the business kind of falls by the wayside.
Yeah, it takes a backseat.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's intentional, but it could also be market timing too, because it's not necessarily like good deals. You can't really control when something comes across your table. So if deal flow in general is slower, it's not like you're intentionally ignoring deals too. Yeah. You have those avenue sources. I mean, so how do you get your deals? Are you getting a lot of word of mouth, or are you just on hitting MLS or LoopNet and all those? Or
well, I think we should go through them. We'll do it in a format of underrated, overrated, or appropriately rated. Mm-hmm. And before we do, I guess I think of deal flow similar to like subcontractor pricing, and I'll make that make sense. I'll call a sub for a price, and like 2 weeks later, I won't have a number. He'll answer my call. He'll sound excited, but then he didn't price it. And it's like, I'm sure in their world, they're, balls deep in a project, drywalling something, roughing something. Like, it's really tough to think about the next big project.
they have to do exactly what we're trying to do.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So for that reason, I try to give them some latitude. I follow up a lot. Like, I'll talk to guys who are like, screw that guy. He didn't call me back and it's been 8 days. I'm not going to hound him for a price. It's like, you'd be doing yourself a service if you did. He's a good sub. I'm sure he's got a lot going on, and he's just procrastinating on this like I procrastinate on looking at new development projects. So
No, it's great.
Yeah.
It's a great analogy there.
So brokers, people selling deals, reselling deals, I'd say be persistent. Don't worry about a follow-up text, another phone call. Like I appreciate it.
Unless you get a hard no or something, right?
Yeah,
Then
sure.
that's off the list. But
But if you are not following up, then someone else is.
Yeah.
I would also say if you're really pounding the pavement, then maybe the price is the problem, or there's something going on with the site, or maybe it's not entitled enough, or whatever the deal may be. We just had a project. We just purchased that place in Amesbury. That took over a year for the seller to get us to be the ones that closed it. I mean, that was a pricing and et cetera issue, right?
So how did you find that deal?
That was MLS.
Yeah.
But
We've had good success with MLS. I want to say at least half. Yeah.
MLS is underrated.
Agreed. It depends.
I think it's
I've seen people.
really
I've seen.
rated.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, like I've seen people get great deals on MLS. I've seen people get great deals off market, but I've also seen people get crap deals off market. At least with MLS, there's something to be said for that. Like the market has vetted it in some sense. As long as you're not buying it the first weekend it's on.
Well, that's my point. Yeah,
yeah.
this thing was almost a year old when we
It had
were
fallen
allowed.
apart multiple times. The first time I called, it was active on MLS, even though it was technically under agreement. So I called the broker, the listing agent, And she said, it's already under agreement. I said, okay, call me if it falls apart. I said, well, follow up. So I finally saw that she changed it to under agreement in MLS. And then a couple months went by. I looked back. I was just looking at MLS again because deal sourcing, et cetera. I saw it back on the market and I was like, what? So I called her immediately and she was like, oh, it is back on the market, but there was a backup offer that we're going to accept. I said, okay, well, I asked you to call me, so can I please be on your follow-up list if it falls apart again? And she said, sure. So I was like, nothing.
This is the seller or the buyer? I can't remember.
This is the seller's agent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because didn't the buyer agent call you?
Well, then, someone on her team reached out, and I was hounding her, and I said, please let me know if this thing falls apart.
Well, I think it's a great strategy there. It's sort of like in high school when you find a girl on the rebound.
Oh, jeez. Damaged goods?
Yeah, it's just like, especially if you are a qualified buyer who can execute. If somebody's just been through the ringer with somebody who's, didn't perform and you show up, it's like, hey, my price might not be there, but aren't you tired of dealing with, guys like him?
Oh, jeez. So then a couple months go by. I get a call, and she's like, "Are you still interested?" I said, "Yeah." She's like, "This deal is probably going to fall apart. If you can get in up here, take a look at the building, do a walkthrough, and put an offer in by like tomorrow before we put it back on the market, we'll give you first shot."
We can present it to the seller.
And that's kind of what happened with that one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind searching MLS for expired listings.
Right.
For listings that have a ton of days on market.
Lots of price reductions.
Yeah. All of those things I'm fine with.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously MLS is going to be the most competitive type of deal sourcing because, everyone and their brother has access to it.
Yeah.
But I think there are still deals to be found on MLS.
And there's definitely something to be said for the ones that are off market, but maybe a couple weeks off market. And if that's kind of your shtick, is like you're calling those, I don't know if you're reaching out to the seller directly or just the last agent that had it, and then say like, hey, what happened? Are they still kind of interested? I don't know.
So
didn't we have one like that? One of the ones in Southie here?
Maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Well, I think overrated, moving on here, is driving for dollars. And I'll define that. So driving for dollars is kind of what it sounds like. You're going to roll through a neighborhood. You're going to take pictures of dilapidated properties or houses that seem like there's opportunity. Maybe it's a giant lot in a area that's zoned very favorably. And then you're going to send letters or knock on the door.
Yeah. Because just driving for leads is, I would argue,
incredibly time consuming.
I would argue it's appropriately rated because it's not. It's what you do with it afterwards and what your objective is. Like Dan and I drove around looking for just the shittiest looking houses, and the reason we looked for those was because at that time we knew gut renos was like that was our thing, and maybe we can add a story or do something with the basement.
Right.
So we knew going into it that was the best way to kind of know what our numbers are, and also the owners would probably have more motivation versus a place where, well, it only needs kind of a fluff and buff, right? You don't really know what's behind the walls. So
were you knocking on the door?
No.
Then we converted that into a mailing campaign.
Oh, I've literally knocked on doors.
Have you?
I mean, half the time the owner's not there though. They don't live there.
Right. So I think, I think
it's worked for somebody.
I think to your point, I think if you're just driving for dollars and doing nothing with the crappy address afterwards, then obviously it's overrated. But I think if you're utilizing another form of either direct mail or some form of outreach to the seller, direct to seller marketing, I think that works. I think we've had a lot of really good success with direct mail in combined with the driving for dollars, but we were very, very, very consistent.
Agree.
About it. We mailed to people for years, and it takes a long time for those leads to be to nurture those leads and to eventually get a call.
You also have to be in the right place at the right time. A friend of mine bought a property in East Boston like 2 years ago now, but he just saw some someone putting a for sale by owner sign in their window. And he's like, "Hey, Susie, like, what's up?" And he's like, "Oh, you want $200,000 for this? Sure."
Yeah.
And got an unbelievable deal. So,
well, maybe that's the next one then. For sale by owner. Have you ever dabbled in those listings, like people trying to put it on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist?
You bought something on Craigslist, right?
Yeah, deal in Newton that I recently finished was a Craigslist acquisition.
I've never heard that one before.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
I know.
So how did that work out?
I always feel like such a skis ball when I say I was on Craigslist, but like I was clicking on
it's a
real
place
estate
for buyers and sellers, of various things.
Yeah, I was looking for a deal. But yeah, there was like 6, 7 brothers.
It was a FSBO?
It was for sale by owner. It was probably 6 or 7 brothers and sisters, and they needed the number that they needed, And I think my best guess, having talked to a lot of guys who've done a lot of work in that neighborhood, is that it wasn't like a brand new opportunity. Like people had seen this, had heard about it, and I think that I sort of benefited from being naive insofar as like it's a very difficult neighborhood to get entitlements. And I didn't really know that going in. And this group of brothers and sisters, they needed what they needed because it was going to get split 9 ways. And I structured the offer as, sure, I'll give you $1.3 million, but I need to get my permits first. And I think if I were to teach a master class, and I say this very humbly, but it would certainly be titled like kitchen table diplomacy. That just, door to door, meet one person. Who else should I talk to in the neighborhood? Bring your plans, that type of thing. You can't outsource that. And
were there literally 9 cooks in the kitchen though, or was there one person kind of in charge of the estate?
There was one person who was in charge of the estate on account that he was an attorney, and he was really the common sense guy in all of it. But he was as frustrated as I was at times.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, when it comes to probate or inheritances and siblings.
And the bigger the family, the more complicated it becomes.
I mean, down to the last day where, brother Jim wasn't moving out. And I was like holding the closing. I'm like, look, I'll take asbestos. I'm not taking a house with somebody in it.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah.
No way.
Interesting.
So
I actually think that might parlay into another underrated, which is just the personal connection where, in this day and age of AI and automation and chatbots and all that stuff, someone answering the phone or someone making a phone call or just being a human, I think is going to be an advantage, because I think we're all just going to end up at some point where we are getting tired of the robots and we will value an actual human sometimes too. Maybe that's just me.
I guess.
It's just really hard to get someone on the phone and keep them on the phone, no matter how charming you are.
I mean, from the seller's perspective, I'm sorry. You fill out a form and then you call and then you get like 600 automated dialers back.
Yeah.
If you have a way to reach a human, right, as the person sourcing the deal, you make it easy to communicate. Then that's I'd say an advantage. Yeah,
we were talking about this. This is another sidebar, but Chris, CEO of Acre Siding, and I were chatting after our last pod about how to grow the product and get in front of more builders. And we were talking about the benefits of using like scraping public data and sending out mailers. And, I do think, to your point, like in this day and age, it's almost refreshing to have someone just roll up on your job site with a sample. Like you're there all day, every day anyhow. Like, hey, can you check this out? I'd love to show you my product.
Or just like cold call somebody and say, hey man, I'm so-and-so from Acre. Have you looked at our product before? Let me know when you're on site. I'll meet you there.
Yeah.
Do you know who does that really well? Ken Sheldon.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah. He always meets me on site, or he'll always like even drive to my house, personal house, drop off a sample. Like,
this is flooring?
Flooring, sorry.
Yeah.
And he's always been really good about that.
Yeah. No, agree. And that's sort of low-hanging fruit for a builder because, like I said, you're generally like on site. It's not a big ask of my time if you say, I'm going to come to your job site. I'm there anyway.
Right.
Sure,
right.
I'll give you 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, I think that's really good. So I would, so what's next on the list?
Next on the list, I have REO, auction, bank-owned properties, distressed
properties. I think that is
so chasing auctions.
Awful.
Overrated.
Completely.
I think it could be appropriate, maybe under, if you figure out the secret sauce, and you have to devote like a good amount of time to that. And that's the reason why. Well, I like to play devil's advocate with you guys too. You know that. But there's a lot of people that will show up and they know the deal, or eventually, you get to know the auctioneers. There's only so many of them, and you can kind of get like, is this thing going to go? Am I going to waste my time? And so maybe eventually you increase your chances of hitting the numbers. But funny thing, what was it, the Flipping Vegas or whatever, like Tarek and Christina, apparently he started that TV spot and had done like one project, and then he signed up and got the contract for 10. He's like, well, I got to go find them. And he just started going out to auction after auction after auction, and then just got them that way.
You ready for the real answer?
Okay.
All right. Highly overrated.
Okay.
Unless you have a personal connection to the property. If you have inside baseball knowledge of the property, and Mike is a good example. Mike, I'm forgetting his last name right now, but buys 7 units in East Boston on auction. The guy who was building it went belly up, and Mike was very close with the architect who had been doing construction administration. So he shows up on the stoop. This thing is already framed and drywalled, right? And it's available for sale. And his architect friend said to him, like, this is well built. I've been here periodic site visits throughout, and this guy went broke, and it's not because of this job. He had another thing go bad over here. And he was successful in bidding it, and he finished the thing 3 months later and crushed it.
Wow.
So it's that kind of
But usually those things
I would never
are
take
underwater.
No, where
That would
the rough was done,
Ugh.
and there's no C of O yet.
way.
I think you got to be really careful about tenants. You got to be really careful about liens. Like, every standard form Massachusetts offer to purchase says, you're going to deliver clear and marketable title.
Right.
Not the case on auctions.
Right.
So
How
if
do you
you're
know
really
it?
serious about bidding, you need to probably run title before you
Of course.
go in and make huge investment. Make sure there's not liens.
And how do you know? How do you know, or basically get an indemnification that a prior sub's not going to come
Yeah.
back? I mean, I guess that's against title, right? So once it changes, they can't go after.
I
you.
also think it's the part of the country we're in too, because I know that a lot of states in the Northeast, like Massachusetts, New York, it's Connecticut, et cetera, it's very, very difficult to even get to the foreclosure process. It could take years for a lender to foreclose on you. And then once you get there, they'll rule the regulations and all this regulatory stuff, that requirements for lenders that they have to adhere to get to the auction and do all of that. It's a nightmare. But there's other states that I've seen where it's like, you just go to the courthouse and they just ramble off a list of stuff and you just bid on whatever you want.
Yeah, you're
so
right.
I think it depends on the part of the country where you are. So here, I think it's very overrated, but other states it could be underrated.
So the other part of the challenge is that, one, the banks will purchase the property back. Mm-hmm. So you're really never going to get like an absolute steal, because the bank's just not going to let it happen. They'll purchase it back from themselves and hire an agent to sell it. Or B, you show up at the stoop ready and all excited, and at the last second, I'll make like a death penalty analogy. They get a stay of execution. Something happens, some judge, and the guy with the white. Sorry guys, come back another day.
Yeah, I think 99% of the time it's
like
canceled
day
or
of.
postponed or
Rescheduled,
whatever.
Yeah. I would say this though: the banks can't technically make money. They can make their arrears and their fees and their interest. If the total number is like 400 and they sell it at auction for 450, doesn't that 50 go back technically to the prior owner?
Yes, but I think the key word there is arrears. And the reason is, like, especially with private money, what you'll find is that the day that you're now delinquent, your interest rate is no longer 7.58%. It'll juice to like 22%, whatever the max allowed interest rate is.
Not residential.
Well, that's certainly private loans.
Yes, private.
But even bank debt, I think that you're going to have a lot of penalties and.
It's usually a couple percentage points. It's definitely not 7 to 22.
Not, okay.
Those are in
But
the low dollars.
they'll tack on attorney fees, administration fees, all like
they bill for that
auctioneer
whole
fees. Like
process.
it's
Of course.
they'll add up enough fees to make it back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, let's not
Okay.
lead the audience to believe the banks are making money on this.
No,
they're
that's
just
correct.
getting back to whole.
They're getting back to whole, but they will not lose $1, and they'll figure out everything you owe.
But they're definitely not going to repeat 06 to 09 or whatever that
Yeah.
terribleness was.
All right.
No, what's the next?
Wholesalers?
Yeah. What do you think?
We've never bought off of a wholesaler.
Appropriately rated?
Have you ever bought off a
say
wholesaler?
overrated.
Never bought a wholesale deal.
Neither have we.
I think wholesaling's overrated on both ends, buying and selling.
I think it's incredibly difficult as a wholesaler. I don't know. To me, it seems logistically a logistical nightmare. Mm-hmm. Like to get something under contract and I don't know if are you telling the seller that you're going to wholesale the deal or flip the paper? Because how are you going
Some
to...
states require that now, or they consider you like a real estate professional, so you can't wholesale. I forget what.
But what I'm
states they are.
saying is it's like, me for one, I'm not going to buy something if I don't get to walk it, unless I'm tearing it down, right?
Right.
So why would like a seller be like, why are you bringing all these people through? Like, what are you doing? Like, it's, I don't know. It seems shady and logistically very difficult for a wholesaler to do a deal. I don't know.
No, I think I agree. Let's go.
I would say the only way that would work is you do have a really strong network of people that can perform, because they have to perform. And maybe it's a combination of it was expired on MLS and you say, hey, I know you really want to sell it. Like, let me bring my network of people through who look at things a little differently, not necessarily as like a retail buyer, and see if we can get your number. And maybe you get a chance to get a foot in the door.
Well,
I'm not saying it's high success.
So my brokerage group, I got called in. There's a distressed property, large multifamily. And gentleman asked me if I would be interested in building it, and I don't have time. I'm absolutely slammed. But I pivoted quickly and said, like, but a lot of guys like in my network would be very interested in this deal. And the first group we brought through,
They did.
we have an
They
offer.
did.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
Nice.
We'll
That's
see,
great.
We'll see what happens right now.
So is that considered a wholesale or like a
That's not
finder
wholesale.
fee?
It's a real.
But it's a great reason to have your broker's license or your real estate salesperson license anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, moving on. I think an overrated form of finding deals is partnerships, right? So I get a lot of, hey, we should partner on something, blah blah. But so bring me a deal. Like I don't.
Yeah.
It's like both guys. I don't know.
When they approach you, what are they looking for from your end? Like the construction management side? Are they looking for money? Are they kind of looking for everything and they just might have a piece of dirt?
Yeah, they don't have anything yet. And the problem is...
So what are they bringing to the table?
It's like, you ever been approached by somebody who's like, dude, I'm looking to raise some money. And you look at them, you're like, me too. What are we having coffee about here? You know? So it's like, let's do a deal together. You got a deal? No. You got a deal? No.
Go fish.
Yeah. So I think those coffees are better spent with brokers. And I think that you should strategically identify realtors in the neighborhoods you want to play in who are doing good volume, and grab coffees with them and say, like, these are my criteria. This is my budget limit. This is what makes a good project. And I'm actively looking.
I agree with you.
So that's underrated.
Yeah, partnerships. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you said it was overrated when
Well,
you started.
partnerships are, but I think the like
Networking with
real estate professionals, sales agents is underrated. And if you could be disciplined about it, I actually think that's a big unlock. Like if you could stay every other week, I'm going to have breakfast with one, like not that hard to do. You could do that for 6 months. Imagine how powerful that would be.
Like how we do the podcast every other week.
Every other week.
Hit some episodes.
How about real estate attorneys, like probate attorneys, foreclosure attorneys?
All good deals. The challenge with a lot of that stuff is the regulation. Where, like there's just no sweetheart deal. Everything's got to go public. If they're a trustee for an estate.
Right.
Yeah, I'd say overrated.
Overrated.
I mean, it's exciting when you get the call, but once you dig deep into it, it's like, okay, I guess I'll wait for it to go on MLS and hopefully I'll still be the low.
Exactly. That it?
Well, I got like Zillow, Compass coming soon. Those are forms of like off market. Zillow coming soon, Compass coming soon. You should register for Compass coming soon. Anyone can. You don't have to be a Compass agent anymore.
Yeah, I mean, another source.
Something not available here, I don't think I've ever heard anybody doing it, but other parts of the country, tax liens as a way to potentially get a property. If not, then you just make money on the investment.
I think the benefit of that data is that you can go to the seller. It's giving you an indication, a clue that there's somebody who may have some distress.
Yes.
So like the other forms, unfortunately, probably like obituaries. I feel like that's like the end of Wedding Crashers when he's
we
crashing
did that one
funerals.
time. Yeah, no, we did that.
I don't think anyone's proud of that.
I feel really bad.
Whoever we were working with at the time, they said, "Well, wait till the body's in the ground and cooled off. Like give it like 3 months because, believe it or not, like you are implying here, they'll get lots of letters like a week after the person passes.
Still grieving.
Awful. And then when you get like that 2 or 3 months down the road, most of the hurt is behind them, and now they are focusing on what to do to wrap up the estate. So, yeah.
How about bandit signs?
Oh my God! I forgot
Like
about those.
we buy houses. Call
Yeah.
this number. You see it tacked on
we
like the
did
side.
that.
We did that.
Didn't we get in trouble for
We
that?
did that very very early on. When we had
way.
no idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
We put them all over the place, and then I think we got. Yeah.
They
we did
said
get-
take them down.
We got in trouble.
Who'd you get a call from?
It wasn't Boston, but it was a town that I forget which town we put them in, but we got a call and from either the police department or something, and they said that you have to take them down because you don't have like a permit to put them up.
Meanwhile, I see like we'll do your Christmas lights and we'll
Or
blow
like
out your gutters.
landscapers put signs out all the time, and it's like, why can't I put a sign out? Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
So
Very overrated.
I don't think
Very
We had
overrated.
no success with that. Yep, that was a waste.
Well, all right.
Anything else?
With other websites that one could use.
Oh, there's like SEO, like all that new like SEO and like pay
Well,
per
basically,
click and like all that stuff.
Yeah, instead of
Instagram
doing
ads.
direct to marketing, direct to seller marketing, you're doing paid
it is direct to seller
advertising.
marketing, but you're not mailing.
It's not targeted. You don't know who's going to actually see it, and I feel like that was just a monstrous.
We tried
money pit.
that, and it was
like,
it's
oh,
so expensive.
Put another
to be
500
competitive.
onto Google credits. Put another 5. I was like, we got nothing. So this is terrible.
It's a very unless you have incredibly deep pockets, it's very overrated.
Or you're very specific with like geotagging and criteria, but it was we got approached by endless people. We'll do this. We guarantee results every single time. It just didn't work.
I'll give one other piece of what I think is wisdom, and that's like so tours of your projects, like behind the build. You guys have done them. I've done them. You get a lot of people in the room, and it really establishes your credibility. And when somebody has an opportunity to sell something, for example, the deal that I just pivoted to and the group that I called first, it's because I knew they were very legitimate and I followed their projects and I knew the guys and that they could execute, and they were my first call. So point being is like, if you can validate your experience and your credibility in the market, like it's not your benefit to always just like put your hoodie up and hide under an LLC. Like
Right.
put yourself out there as an expert, because when there's 6 offers, yours will float to the top if you're
Yeah,
somebody
also
they
like
know.
presenting to various networking groups and things like that.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
Yeah, I think
And just
that's-
having a track record of following through, because there's only so many times someone will come through and say, oh, I want to take a look at this and put in an offer, and then either they don't perform or they never make the offer. I know. So the fact that you're doing things shows
actually
that
doing deals.
when I'm interested and I make an offer, like I'm serious about it, for sure.
Yeah, you're not going to get an offer.
Well, hey, good episode. Maybe another one we'll do on how to finance your deals.
Oh, yeah.
But for now, this has been great.
Thank you for listening, rating, reviewing, subscribing. Let us
And
know
watching.
Let us know how you like the video stuff and if we should continue. And we appreciate it.
Yeah, please drop a review on Apple Podcasts. It really helps our pod grow. So
And follow us on YouTube.
Cheers.
All right, bye.
Later.